All right, guys, welcome back to the finals. I'm Elise Randolph, got my name right this time. Go me. Joined by BVP. We've got match two between Templis CALSF and Warlords of the Deep. Templis are currently up 1-0 in this best of five series. And as such, they've taken the winner's comp of double Vindicator, Balgorn, double Arbitrator, double Deacon, Magus, Crucifier, Magus. What did the Warlords team bring?
Warlords has brought a double damnation guardian sacrilege, two nasty evil rooks, a jackdaw, two vengeances, and a purifier. We're seeing different stuff than we've been seeing for the last couple matches, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of switch up happening here. It is kind of refreshing to see no Lighthawks, no Lokis, no crazy stuff like that. Mystical and in the Rook, like with his Rook buddy, they've got their work cut out for him. Interestingly enough, in the last match, the Warpins were 0 for the entire Tempest team and 20 for the Warlords team. Warlords changing it up. They're going, you know what, 50. 50 is better, except for Casper and Amelia and the Vengeances. They're up close at 30. Meanwhile, the entire Tempest team is sitting between 30 and 40. So a lot of distance between these two teams. There's going to be a lot of room to posture out here.
I think that was a really smart call on Warlord's part. Those two Vindicators are really, really gross, though. Templis was smart. They must have predicted that there was going to be some ECM and decided not to bring Leshaks, which are kind of notorious for being crippled by being just jammed even once.
Yeah, so one of the neat things about the Tempest team is they're all either Galente or Amar, which means kind of good stuff when you're facing against ECM because you're only two races. One race would be a little bit better, but obviously they can't squeeze it back in. So these ships, at least some of them, should have a lock right now. As you see, a lot of that E-War going across from the Warlord side. And, right now, there's just a lot of moving around, trying to get into a good position, see who rushes in first.
Yeah, Warlords is actually, they're rushing in, but the entire Templis team is burning straight for an MJD beacon in the back, which is kind of not what I expected here. I would have thought there'd be a little more brawling, but even their battleships, they're flying all the way back towards that MJD beacon. We might see something I don't think we've really seen is like a coordinated MJD jump on top of the Guardian or something here.
Yeah, these arbitrators though, they're moving kind of slow. These arbitrators are not booking it, as the kids say. They're all the way behind the field right now, only going like 600 meters a second top speed. But yeah, as you mentioned, the entire Warlords team is just corralling the Tempest team towards this MJD beacon. We'll see how it works. Like, if the entire team tries to use this MJD beacon, I guarantee you someone's going to bump and get flung off in the wrong direction. So something to look out for here, as if they do actually begin to activate that thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, like, the battleships are definitely sitting directly on it, so they haven't quite started turning around yet. But if they do this successfully and they can get all of those, especially the Vindicators, directly into the back line, avoiding any screening, this could be really, really bad for Warlords.
Lucas Kwan is actually with the Guardian. He's with his whole team. They are bum rushing in as a unit. So like he's not stuck out in no man's land if they do the MJD trick. I
MJDs
have
are
a
going.
feeling. Oh
Yep,
snap!
all
They
three
are
battleships are
actually
MJD'd.
activated. So let's see if this works out. Let's see if they bump. There's a lot of space between them, so it looks like they're doing it in groups a little bit here. And the
They
MJD has been successfully activated.
they got almost the entire team there. I think, yeah, if this Magus doesn't go or goes, then the entire team will have MJD'd, and they actually MJD directly on top of Casper 24. So I guess they don't have to worry about trying to avoid him.
That is a wild maneuver there. Now in the back lines here, a little bit of a switch Rooney's going on here. Templis is now going after Casper's Vengeance. I think Casper's probably okay with this. His goal was to tackle a battleship anyway, so now he's got a little bit less work to do. But he is taking a pounding right now. The Vengeance, one of the tankiest ships in the game, especially when it comes to an assault frigate. So he might be living here a little bit longer than Templis want.
Yeah, but regardless of how tanky you are, there is not much that survives against a Vindicator, and we are seeing that Casper is webbed down to the single-digit movement speed at this point. So he's about to start taking massive damage. In fact, he's spiking half of his HP per Vindicator volley at this point. So, even with being that super tanky ship, it might not matter.
Warlords are splitting their damage pretty effectively here. The last Spartan's taking damage, Dale's taking damage. A Deacon is taking damage. They're trying to get these logistics frigates to stress out a little bit. And it does look like Templis has swapped targets. They're like, okay, Casper, you win this round. They're on to Soldier in the Sacrilege, and they're pounding him down right now.
And again, sacrileges are incredibly tanky ships, though they also have that assault damage control. So, we'll see. I think that what's something we're seeing is a lot of jams are going out. If you look at the attack bar of the Templis team, it is massive, but they're applying very little of it. So I believe that a lot of these Vindicators are taking some pretty serious jams. Like we're seeing the power of those rooks right here.
Yeah, and this Balgorn, generally you love a Balgorn in a match for the longer it goes because, you're exerting ECM pressure, or rather EWAR pressure on the other team in the form of your newts. But this Balgorn, he's not getting a lot of these jams off. This Lucas Quan in that Guardian, he's not webbed, he's not neuted, he's not NOS. There's nothing going on to hamper his ability to rep his squad. And you can see the entire Warlords team sitting at 100% armor here. Templis really need to get something done as they're like getting picked apart here.
Yeah, I think the Balgorn's kind of desperately trying to newt off the tackle from some of their ships so they can get them going. Something to note, the Balgorn is both a disgusting lime green color and full newt, so there won't be any damage coming out from it, which means that it does have incredible newting pressure when it is not jammed. It does not look like they're doing any jams on it. They're mostly focusing them on those Deacons and those Vindicators, which is a very, very good call. Again, those Vindicators do disgusting DPS whenever they're not jammed.
Yep, and the last Spartan, he's taking a lot of damage here, right? He's been sitting in half armor. I'm sure he's got a reactive that's adapting here, but if one jam gets off on one of these Deacons, it could be all she wrote here. Soldier is also going down, so now you can see they're starting to apply some damage when they don't have a jam cycle on their Vindies. They can deal a lot of damage here. But Templates, they need to get these rooks off the field. They need to do something about these rooks. Jam them, nude them, do anything you can to make them go away.
Yeah, I think neither of the Vindicators are jammed right now, so we are seeing Soldier drop. They're trying to hold on here. Like I don't know, like you said, just massive amount of structure damage from one single volley right there. If these jams land though, nope, and Soldier does go down. So first ship goes down, but I think the Vindicator of Last Spartan is going to go down with them.
Yeah, that'll be huge if he does drop. I mean, we got to see how these jams are going to work. These rooks are completely unimpeded right now. It looks like the Balgorn does have lock again. The Balgorn can get some Nosses and Newts off. He's got the Guardian webbed and neuted, so that Guardian's going to be lowering in rep amount. You see Dexter's, the Damnation is going to taking a lot of damage now too, as his Guardian is under pressure. It is a tense moment right here. The last Spartan needs to live a little bit longer. He has to live at least as long as Dexter does in order to have an impact here.
Yeah, he is bleeding structure now. Vindicators do have quite a massive amount of structure. There is so many rep drones that are sitting on top of the last Spartan. I don't actually know if Warlords brought any way to clear them. So I think that he is holding on just by the rep drones. There's only a single Deacon that is repping him right now unjammed. It's kind of hard to tell, but just staring at those little beams, it is, I don't know, it's such a tight race. If Dexter goes down, I think they might be able to keep Last Spartan up. But if Last Spartan goes down, I don't think they'll be able to do it. And they actually blow up a Purifier from the Warlords team, just gets popped by somebody off in the corner there, which is a really smart call, taking a lot of DPS off grid.
All right, Templates are doing it. They got it. You mentioned the rep drones. Faith had fired a bomb before in the Purifier. He had fired a bomb on the Warlord side to clear off the rep bots, and he did nail a lot of the cruisers as well. So you can see most of the ships had their shields stripped away. That was because of a bomb coming in. The last Spartan is gaining HP now as, my God, the Warlords team, they're starting to crumble now too. The last Spartan is doing it. That they're able to hold on. They're able to live long enough. The ECM rolled in their favor a little bit here. And it looks like they're going to kill this other Damnation.
I don't think the other Damnation's going to live, especially if, the last Spartans, God, it was so close. Like him surviving, they almost took like thousands of DPS off the field, but now Jane's not going to be able to move anywhere. He's double Vindy webbed, so he's not doing anything here. Like those rep drones, being able to keep them up, that saved the last Spartan even through the jams. No one's going to jam a rep drone out, and heavy armor maintenance spots are so good.
Yeah, so this Balgorn is now exerting so much pressure on Lucas Quan. He can't get anything off, right? He can inject and cap boost a little bit, but that's all he can do, really. He's got two mids to work with, as the panel had mentioned before. Not a lot of wiggle room there. So he's not able to effectively rep his team. Amazing that Templates are just saying, oh, you brought 2 rooks. That's cool. We're ignoring them. We're just going to pound through you anyways. As the less Spartan, his ship is in flames right now with 61% structure, but he's got all his HP, his shield HP back, rather his armor HP back. He just doesn't care. He is going to town on this damnation. And the Warlords of the Deep team, they're now down 2 games if this holds.
I don't think it can change either or change in their favor at this point. There's only 1 minute left, and Jane is going to drop in the damnation as well. So, well, it's not going to be a clean sweep. Also, Harantes goes down in the Jackdaw, randomly gets shot. Warlords is dropping good fights. There's, with only a minute left and 2 rooks and 2 vengeances, it's not a particularly large amount of DPS here. This is actually the second time I think we've seen Warlords lose with this specific setup as well.
Yeah, so I mean, they're trying to get something going here, right? Now, obviously, they have a few more advantages. Templates can't take Vindicators again. Vindicators are always a scary comp, especially the Balgorn paired with it. Very spooky. Interestingly enough, though, I don't think their arbitrators really had much of an effect here. I didn't see that many missile guidance computers going on them. So maybe Templates guessed a little bit wrong here, or they just put them in just for an odd Leshak.
Yeah, there's like maybe 1 or 2 missile guidance, but just the way that the warpins and the fact that you're shooting heavy assault missiles versus battleships, unless they were able to like guidance disruptor one of them down from not being in range, which is entirely possible, that they were able to pull that off. I don't think they really did all that much. They just kind of got, I don't know, either outplayed or maybe the ECM didn't work the way they wanted to. That MJD was a very, very smart call. There was maybe a possibility that their team could have been split there. It's definitely risky.
Definitely a risky maneuver, but time is called, right? Long have they waited. It looks like the last Spartan in his squad will be victorious on this one, taking it 74-0. They didn't lose anything in this whole match. The Vengeances lived almost until the end, and the Rooks are still alive. They get to watch their teammates get carted away with their tears in their eyes. But for BBP and I'm going to send it back to the studio with Ithaca, Aurora, and Suetonia to break down the massacre that just happened.